Welcome back, everyone, to another SvelteSirens stream. You may have noticed from the thumbnail that we were going to have Kev with us today, but he is not feeling well. He has a sore throat, so we're going to let him off the hook, and Willow is joining me to help me through all of the fun SvelteKit stuff. So we are going to be setting up a form on the Siren site to allow speakers to submit. And I have some other ideas, but I think like we will start with like the most basic form of like that. And we want to post it to a Discord server that we have so that we will get alerted if people want to submit talks. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and add to stream. There we go. Size look okay for everyone. Let me know if it needs to be bigger or anything. Clear my terminal here. And I'm just going to go ahead and start a new branch. We're going to call this feature contact. And now that we are on a new branch, I can go ahead and create a new folder called contact, I guess, for now. We can change that later if we need to, right?
Yeah.
So I guess first things first, are we going to do the UI piece of this?
That sounds good.
Okay, so we'll create, oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I did Control plus instead of just regular Shift plus. There we go. Hi, Kelvin. How's it going? Plus page.svelte and get us a svelte file going. And then in this file, we're just going to have a form element for now. And what fields do we need on this?
That's completely up to you. I was thinking probably email, name, idea, and Discord.
Okay, so email, name. What was it? Discord and
And an idea. Oh, is that? I hope that's not me frozen.
web message, text area message. Okay, so that's what we need to get fields for. So we need an input with type equal to email. That's a thing, right?
Yes.
And input type equals text.
Is that Brittany cutting out or is that me cutting out? Okay, I think it's Brittany cutting out. We'll wait for her to come back. Hopefully her internet sorts itself out. Yeah, we have lost her. Okay, while she's gone, let me just walk through. For those of you who don't know, SvelteKit added a feature for forms. They call it progressively enhancing forms, and essentially, we want a way for forms to work without people having. We want a way for forms to work for people who might not have JavaScript enabled, and so because forms by default on their own, they that's how they do work, right? They make like a post request or some other request like get maybe to your server, and that can handle it. But there wasn't a way to do this nicely in SvelteKit. There was a way, and it's been done by loads of people in the past. I even did it myself quite a lot. But now there's a way to do it built in with actions, form actions, and then we also have the a way to enhance the forms so that you don't get like a page refresh whenever you submit the form, right? So that's what we were going to show today by building out our contact form for talks on the Sirens website. In I'm not sure. I think Brittany's internet has completely died. So, bear with us. A drive code said, "How about the weather?" Unfortunately, here in where I live in the UK, it's quite gloomy outside, quite cloudy. But I hope some other people. I'm personally more of a winter person, so I quite enjoy the cold, but not this. This is just kind of miserable. But I suppose that's what we get for living in the UK. I don't know when Brittany's internet's coming back, so I'm just gonna quickly pull up our code. We can go through it until Brittany gets back. Just bear with. So Brady asked what are some use cases I've used form actions for. I've used them for loads of different things. In this case, we're obviously using it for a contact form, but I've done things like use login systems with it, because you can do pretty much anything you want. It's running on the server. It's like an endpoint, so you can do what you want with it, really. Okay. So if I hope everyone can see this okay. I'll zoom in a bit more. Okay, let's just carry on. So we're gonna put this on /contact, I think. The first thing we have to do is the UI, right? So we need our page.svelte. And then we have our form tag here. This is really like the heart. I'm assuming everyone here has used the form tag before. But this is built into HTML, so we can start creating our inputs. So we have like the email here, and then a name. What else did we want? An idea. So perhaps that would be in like a text area. Can get rid of these. And then if I open this up here, go to /contact, it's going to look absolutely awful. I can do. If that's okay. Let me know if you want it in bigger. We could. So we have this here. Let's give this a placeholder just so we can see what it is. So an example.com. And then I don't know. I think that's quite a common one. And so we get in these inputs here, and just as a make it a little bit nicer, let's make it a column, right? And then we can really start getting into what SvelteKit's doing for us here, right? If I was just to fill these in, And then we need a submit button. I don't know if anyone saw we can see like there's a little page reload. It's probably too small. And it's actually submitting our form to the server, right? But currently we have nothing to handle that. And so we have to create our actions, and these belong in the page.server.ts here. And as with everything with SvelteKit, there's a type for it. So we can use the generated types that SvelteKit provides us, and it's going to be called actions.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Welcome back.
I am having such a fantastic day today. That was fantastic.
Okay, do you want me to push this and you can open it on your end?
Oh, no, you're fine. Just you go ahead and share, and I'll follow along and help out where I can, if I can, because you know all this better than I do, anyways. I'm just gonna chill now. I'm good. I need a different kind of drink in my hand, though. It's only 10 in the morning, and I already want to drink. Oh, we got all kinds of people in the chat, though.
I'm getting a 500 now, which is lovely. Not quite sure why. $$ types. Ah, yes, okay. RTS config, I blame. Cannot pre-render pages with actions. Okay. So we can just disable pre-render here, because we have it on as a root level because it's a static site.
Yep.
So we're going to disable pre-render, which means it will get SSR'd when anyone goes to this URL. We've got I've just added a few inputs to our ugly form here.
So I didn't even realize that you could do that. So at the root level, you can set pre-render, and then you can override that in a route.
So in our root layout here, we have pre-render as true.
Yeah.
You used to do this in the Svelte config. But then they changed it to be in, like, you can do it on a per page level, or you can do it in a layout. And it doesn't. I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have to be in like the root layout. Like if I wanted only everything under /event, for example, to be pre-rendered, I could do that. And you can control this in a page.server.ts or a page.ts. Doesn't really make a difference, I think.
Can you zoom in a couple of times? Or did you already do that?
I did a bit, yeah.
Okay.
If I can zoom in more.
That was maybe before I got back. Thank you, Brent, for the welcome back. Hi, everyone in the chat. I see lots of people chatting. I'm not a winter person either, and I live where it snows like crazy amounts. So yeah, we can deal with styles and stuff later. That was kind of my plan too, is to think about it like afterwards. But we've got an email, a name, a text area for a message.
So we should probably also get like a Discord here, right? So
what if they don't have a Discord? Do they need a Discord?
We can make it optional.
Okay. Yep.
Like we could make the email required, for example.
I think we need email and name probably required. I'm trying to think of anything else that we would need on a speaker submission. So we would need an image, because if we're going to make like the OG image for them.
Yeah. So I think it would be easier to, at least for now, provide that later.
Yeah, that's true.
Handling image upload, like we'd have to have someone to upload the image to, unless they had like a link or something.
Yeah.
So
unless they have it on a CDN already, then we would have to have something to host that, which like Cloudinary and stuff, I do want to do that later, but we can, like you said, we can add that as optional later.
Yeah. So we have some inputs here. We need to like give these labels and stuff later, but we'll do that when it comes to the styling. We're just adding some placeholders to make it a little bit easier. So currently we've added the UI, and we have added a page server.ts, and then we've imported this actions type from our generated types here. And we're exporting actions, which is an object of actions, because you can have multiple different forms on the page. And you can have a default one, or a named one. So the default one is going to be whenever anyone hits this with a post, the default one's going to run. But with the named one, they have to hit.
You're
There's
talking about a default action.
a default action. Yeah,
Yep.
that
Okay.
that one will run.
I've
With a
seen that
named,
in the demo app with the Svertel clone
yeah,
that you can. There's one for like resetting the form, and then there's a method
yeah.
for each time an input is fired.
So there's a special, I think it's action that you do. We could just check on the docs actually if you. So we look for actions here. Yeah, so action here. So you see there's this special question mark
Mhm.
/ something, and in this case it'd be
So that's the query parameter that we're setting, right?
yeah, and SvelteKit will pick up on that, and it will allow us to do named actions that
Gotcha.
aren't the default one, and that's how we can have multiple different ones per page. There's a good example here where the form by default the form uses the login action,
Hmm.
but you could also have a separate button that uses the register action um, to use the same form but do different behaviors, or you can have separate forms with separate actions, and it gives you this SvelteKit gives you this control in a nice way. But for this, we'll just use the default action because we're not going to be doing anything else on this page.
Yep.
So it's just a function, and what does it do? It's a great question. What it takes in. We can check here.
An
Event.
event.
Okay. So this is we're getting to the point where it's very similar to an endpoint or a load function in SvelteKit.
Hmm.
So we can get the data by doing event dot
Form data. Is that
this is
right?
probably on request.form data here, and then awaiting this. So this has to be async. And if we were just to console.log this, for example, and just return nothing for now, and then we was to come back over here and submit the form, maybe put in an email, my name, etc. None of these are currently required, so I can just submit this, and it's not going to be
Can I
upset.
get a console? Should have went in the server, right?
Yeah. Maybe because I did this, it's messing with it. Interesting.
Oh, was that an error from earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. Default action. You need to have, yep, method post, and then do not need to have for the default action. You don't have to have action specified on the form itself.
I didn't think so, but maybe.
Um, yeah, I was gonna look up the docs. Okay, dev docs form actions, and I'll post the link too for anyone else that wants to follow along with the docs. There's the docs. Default async, and then what does the action? It doesn't say anything for the default action. It just has. What else are we missing?
It's weird. I've done this 100 times, and as soon as we get on stream, I'm unable to
This is
reproduce
live
the same.
coding every single time. Every single time. It never fails. Do you just have a regular button? There's no like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no submit. Like it just should work.
Oh, okay. This is
Cross-site
a
posts are
okay.
forbidden.
I don't know how to fix this. This is an issue because I'm using Gitpod, and
Oh,
it
I'm
doesn't
like,
it
this is
doesn't
why
like
you're
it.
here because
Uh,
okay. I'm like, I'm glad you know how to fix that because I did not.
yeah. So usually, what I would do for this, you have to disable cross-site request forgery checking, and then for now, I'm just going to disable this. Don't disable this in production.
So,
Never disable
so
this in
don't push
production.
that to GitHub.
But we can there's a few different ways we can check if it's dev. I don't believe we have access to import.meta.env in here. So we'll just leave this as false for now. But you shouldn't, if you're using Gitpod like I
You
am.
can't import the
I don't think so. I think I tried it before.
packages.
We can give it a go. I think we can do if I tried like input the meta dot. Yeah, we're getting some issues, but
Doesn't like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you're using Gitpod or any other alternative like code spaces or anything like that, you might run into this, and you can just add this to your config.kit.csrf.check origin. We have actually now.
Don't forget to not push it to production.
Yeah.
Did you set up hot module reloading in Gitpod? Someone asked.
It should work by default.
That's what I thought too. Is
Um,
that it should just
there
automatically.
was issues like probably early last year, but it should work by default now. Oh, we have something. Okay.
Yay! Form data. Now we need to grab. So you need to do a .get on that, and you need to
Yes.
actually get data, right? Yep.
So say we want like let's just get the email, for example, like email is data.get email, right? And then we can log this out. And if I put in, I can definitely type. We're getting null. Great. Okay. One thing we haven't done yet is given these names. Now,
Okay. Yep. They need a
these
name.
inputs don't have names by default, right? So name for this would be email. This can be name, Discord, I don't know, idea, right? And then on these form, this is how we get that off the form data here.
Yep.
Because say if I was to do this again, this every time I press shift, this file inspector just pops up. We're getting the email, right?
Oh, is that the experimental inspector
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
have?
It's on shift, so every time I press shift, it pops up.
My bad. I think I did that because in Windows it wouldn't recognize whatever the default command
Oh,
is.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay. So, a few different things you might want to do with this form, right? So, you're going to want to have you want to have state that might be an error state or a success state. And you obviously want this to do something. Right now, we're just console logging it. So like we'll do state first, right? So this email is quite important to us. So the first thing we want to do is make it required on this end. And what that's going to do if I try and submit it, Chrome is going to be like, no, you can't do that. But that still doesn't mean that you can tell Chrome to stop to allow you to do that or submit it manually, which could cause errors in our code. And you see
Yep.
this is going to be typed as like well, currently it's form data entry value, but it's going to be like in our case we want it to be string or nothing. And so we can start doing checks, right? So we could do like if type of email does not equal string. And for an email, you probably want to do some like regex checking here to check if it's actually an email. But for this, we won't. And then here, I think it's return invalidate because some things are throw and some things are return. But we can do invalidate, which we import from. It's not invalidate, is it? Sorry, it's just check. It's validate is for something else. App/forms. No, it's called. Invalid. Okay, from SvelteJS/kit. So we can is it return? Return invalid. And this function here is going to tell SvelteKit that what you've done is not correct. Oh, Brittany's gone again. Okay. she's having a lot of internet troubles, so she's going to be popping in and out. But so this takes two arguments, status and data, right? The first one we're going to put 400 because 400 is the HTTP code for bad input. And then we're also going to return some other stuff. So in our case, we probably want to return success false. And then down here, we can return success true, right? And then on the front end, if we come here and we get a script, we can do export let, I think it's form. And then this would be form data. Let's just import type. So this is going to be generated for us like always with SvelteKit. Action data, I think. So this should be our action data. We can probably check this on the server on the documentation here. Yeah, so this is our thing, and as you can see, SvelteKit's even recommending we do this success thing here. And then perhaps down here we can do form.success. You successfully submitted talk. Google TypeScript in the docs. Thank you. I didn't know they added that. That's cool. Amazing. That's brilliant. So it's not typing this for us for some reason. That would be. I wonder why. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this is not typed, but usually it is, and hopefully we can figure it out as we go along. When you do this, don't forget to do the question mark here, because form, unless you've actually submitted, it won't exist, and you'll get undefined errors. So, and then here we can do an else and say there was an error. Now, this isn't helpful just yet, but we can make it helpful. And if I, for example, make this unrequired and try and submit an email, it's curious, or email. We're gonna for some is so here we're also going to check if the email doesn't have any length to it. So you can see it says there was an error, right? And so we could return something more helpful. So we could say error, email is invalid. And then here, maybe we say form dot error. And then we resubmit, maybe. There we go. Email is invalid. So we can quite quickly, especially if things are working, build out these features using actions and invalidation. Another thing you might want is, if I did put in an email in here and something down here was invalid, like say I forgot the name, you might want, you don't want this to clear, and if I submit, you see it clears, right? So perhaps we could return the email here. And then in this input, we could say value is equal to form.email or nothing, right? And then if I added an email in here, it didn't. We need to return it down here as well. My bad. Hello.com. You can see it sticks around, right? Because we're passing this data back to our front end. If anyone has any ideas why this typing is not working, let me know, because I haven't had that before. But yeah, so that's the basic patterns with forms. To move on to the progressive enhancement part. Currently, you might be able to see if you look up here when I press submit, we're getting a page refresh, which is not bad, but it's not ideal. Just trying to restart the thing, and hopefully that might fix form type action data. That's really interesting. So what we can do, and this is unavoidable, the page refresh on if JavaScript isn't enabled, but because we have JavaScript, we can import. We can also import here. Import enhance from $app/forms, and then on the form it's really simple. We just have to use enhance. This is a spell action, and it's going to apply some magic to our code here. And if we put in my email, or any email really, you'll notice when I press this, we're not getting a page refresh, it's just happening. And behind the scenes, what SvelteKit is doing is it's enhancing this form, and it's calling this for us, it's updating this variable here, and all that good stuff. And it's one of the magic, yes. It is the magic. It's one of the another great thing about SvelteKit, how simple they make this thing. And I've done things where I haven't had login, and then 10 minutes later I have login working with validation on the server side and on the client side, and it's so easy to do with this. So we can flesh out the rest of our films here, right? So fields here. So we have form.name, and I think we might even be able to get rid of this because undefined should be fine. Do form.discord, and then value is form.idea. And then we're just going to get all of these here. So we're going to get the name, data.get name, Discord, data.get Discord. And then we want the idea, const ideas, data.get idea. And then also we should make sure that we return the rest of these here, so that if it's invalid, we get that. We can put it down here as well. And obviously you will want validation for each of your fields to make sure they actually exist, because people might like try and, especially if it's something important, like here, if someone doesn't we do need the ors here. If someone tries to fake our form, it's not going to be the end of the world. But imagine if they're trying to, imagine you have strict password requirements on a website, and you're only validating that client side and you're not validating that server side. That's going to be an issue. So always make sure you validate things both client side and server side. The main reason for validating stuff client side is just for visual feedback, so you can have a good user experience. So yeah, now we should be able to enter things here, and we can also make sure that we have everything on the client side validation. So we want these are required. The Discord we're not going to have required, but the idea we do want required. Matthew said use Zod. Definitely, I've used Zod quite a lot. It's very good. I used it's a, for those of you who haven't used Zod, it's incredible how good their typing is, and it's essentially a schema-based validation for data. So we could use Zod in this case to validate all our fields. They even have things like you can check if it's definitely an email, and I've used stuff like this with form validation before, and another great thing is, especially because it's not running on client side, we can use libraries that might be bigger, like SOD, on the server side, and it's still going to be nice and fast and small on the user, but fully validated, full user experience and everything. So yeah, we have the form. Okay. There is with this use enhance, you can. Well, there's quite a few other things you can do with it, such as you can give it a callback, and if you want, if there's behavior you want to control, like fine-grained control over how the enhancement works, you can do that. Which I haven't looked into myself as I haven't had a need, but I know it's really cool from what I've seen in the docs. There's also a few other functions, if I can find them, with forms you can use if you want to manually enhance forms yourself or manually post to forms. There's this apply action, which you can use in this enhance function here, or I think you can also use it on its own potentially. And there's a few other things as well. I'm still not sure why we aren't getting typings. That's interesting. Joyfco said HunterBite has a great video on form validation with SOD. If anyone has a link to that, then I can put that in the description because that's very useful. Okay. The other thing we wanted to do, and I thought I'd cover this just because I find it quite awesome, is actually posting this. In our case, we don't want a back end. We wanted to keep it simple. We already use Discord for everything, and we wanted to be able to post the form entries to a Discord server, and it's super easy to do. Fortunately, if I'm just going to get up my code for it, bear with me. So Discord, Discord has a system called webhooks, which you might have seen in servers in the past. It's how things like the commit messages from GitHub or loads of other things, how those work. And essentially, it allows you to just make one HTTP request, have a message posted in the chat. So what that HTTP request looks like is essentially this. So we make a fetch call using fetch. We give it the webhook URL, which we haven't defined just yet, but we can do that in a sec. It needs to be a post with some JSON, and then we'll start simple by giving it a content of hello world. And we can use SvelteKit's .env feature. If we just make our .env file here, and we say it's going to be private, so we just want webhook URL. If you do webhooks, don't share your webhook URL because anyone can post to it and you'll get lots of spam and you won't have a nice time. Okay, I just get Discord open. Can go through that. One second. So here we have Discord, and we can go in a channel that we have permission over. We can go edit channel, integrations, webhooks, and we have this one here. we'll just temporarily create a new one, which has crashed our Discord. Great. If we just reload, it should be there, I think. I had some issues with this. So it's created this webhook here, and it gives us this webhook URL. And then I'm just going to pop that in privately, because as we said, we don't want anyone to see this webhook URL because they can post to this channel. And then we should be able to import it from $m static private, because it's a private variable. And then for now, we're going to send the content of hello world. And if I reload this and put in some information like hello willow.sh, hello ghost, and hello. So when I press submit, hopefully we get, so you see if I zoom into Discord a bit, we've gotten this hello world message, and that is just from this one call here. So in this example, we're also going to want to have a nice like list of all of the different fields they put in, right? And we could do this with text, but Discord has a system called embeds, and so we're going to do an embed, right? And the shape, I've got one this prepared. The shape looks something like this. I will put the link for some documentation in the description for you to check out. Discord, if you can go to discord.dev if you want to have a look now. And there's quite a lot of documentation, but if you just search for webhook, you can go through and have a look at all of the different things you can do. This embed, it takes a color, which is just the number representation of a hex, because it doesn't support hex. So I've just taken our hex color and converted it to a number. We have a title and we have some fields. And so here we're going to say, well, we want the email as the email. We want the name as the name, the talk idea as the idea, and the Discord as the Discord. We note, because we have not made this, this is currently like not required. We do want to give this a default value, otherwise Discord will have an error, and we can just say not submitted. And then in here we can have multiple embeds, and we can have content if we want to. So we can just do embed, and then for the content we're going to do @everyone, because that way everyone in our Discord will get the notification. And then if I was to refill this out, and then press submit, see we get this nice little embed with our color, all our fields posted to our Discord. And this is essentially like this didn't cost us anything, and we can see this. We get notified when a post is made, and it's super easy to use. So for us, being able to post to Discord is perfect. Obviously, in your backend, you might want something else, like posting to a database or some other system. And because this is running on the server, as denoted by this file name here, you can do anything you want in here without the risk of like anything getting leaked or anything like that. And so in a matter of minutes, after you've learnt this, it really doesn't take long. You can get a full form set up, posting to your backend, fully enhanced. User experience is amazing. Developer experience is amazing when the types are working, obviously. And yeah, so it's really quite cool what you can achieve with these form actions. SvelteKit is definitely amazing, as Joroku had said. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about form actions or anything like Discord that I could cover? I'm going to reload this while we wait. Okay, I reloaded the window, and all our types are fixed. What about pending UI states? I'm not 100% sure how you would handle that with the enhancement. Um, I'm sure there probably is a way, and it might involve you having to use the callback and with apply action, because of uh, like all this is currently doing is attempting to make it so there's no like page reload, especially like if you're on a slow internet. Page reload is just gonna be a massive pain. This is much better. Yeah, I'm not honestly sure. That's a really good point. Especially if you're on a slow internet, you're definitely gonna want pending states. Um, but we'll have to, yeah, we'll have to investigate that. The reason static is okay here is because it's not going to change. This webhook URL isn't going to change while my app is running. If it did, you could change this to dynamic. But I know, like for example, like this is going to get deployed to Netlify. If we change the environment variables, we just rebuild the site. So there's no real point to using dynamic. But I think they would achieve the same goal. And also, I believe that this build should fail if we're using static and this isn't defined, which is quite good for making sure that we've actually defined all our environment variables. So yeah, that's the main reason. Does anyone else have any questions? This font is it's comic code. It's I very much like it's well, there's two. There's comic mono and comic code. I think this one actually might be comic mono. Um, but they're both very good fonts, and it's essentially mono spaced Comic Sans. It's very nice on the eyes, and I enjoy it a lot. And the theme is Serendipity V1, I think Sunset. Serendipity Sunset V1, yeah. So yeah, I very much enjoy the Comic Sans. I've been quite vocal about it. I think it's so good. I think it's great. The 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 fonts are always great. There's some weirder ones I've seen people using. I don't know how as like I've seen people use like heavily italicized fonts, and I'm like, how can you read that? um, but yeah, I love seeing people's like VS Code setups, especially like their extensions and stuff. It's really interesting. And I always find something new. How I tried Monocraft. I haven't tried Monocraft. Um, um, but I'll write that down and I'll have a look at it. I'm really hoping it's Comic Sans based because it's just so nice. We can do styling later. I'm not. I'm actually. It's been a while since I did any styling for this repo, so I'm not sure how that looks. So hopefully you can, if you have time to get to it. If not, I can take a look at some point. But yeah, I can push this up. It's in a branch called forms, I think. But yeah, thanks. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Sorry we kept having issues with like, well, this was because unfortunately Kev got ill. This is quite rushed, but I'm glad we did it, and I hope everyone enjoyed it and it went well. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming. And if you have any more questions that I didn't get to, feel free to tag me in the Discord, or just ask a question in the Discord. But yeah, have a good night. Bye.